other guys, and I don't talk as much as they do. Because when I'm talking, I'm listening, and I learn more. You know, it's like I said, when you have a problem, you want who's going to respond to your problem to be able to be effective. That's what counts, not how eloquent you speak or how much you got to say. So, y'all please, I ask you, I will remember that I'll be a public servant if elected. I've been a public servant. I know how to treat people. I know how to talk to people. I know how to reason with people. I know what being a public servant is. And I know how to be a listener because it requires humility. And that's something that a whole lot of people don't have. It gets lost. I don't know what's the power, the position, the title. But I do ask you vote. I ask you signatures on these petitions, and I ask the opportunity to be a good sheriff. I'll work hard, and I'll be transparent. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for our And would you also please give a round of applause for our very able and capable timekeeper, Mrs. Desiree Belson, and Miss Desiree Belson. John Henley and Diane Belson for their work in organizing this event. Diane, if you would allow me just 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to, in less than 3 minutes, give you an encapsulated version of my position as it relates to this. My heart grieves and breaks, not only for Lawrence County, but for South Carolina, that her citizens have been disfranchised in an unprecedented fashion. A group of state senators 3 weeks ago did everything possible from a legislative remedy standpoint to right this ship. A very simple resolution that would have affected the ballot so that everyone that had filed their SEI in a timely fashion based on guidance from the 1991 code sections that were all affected by Operation Lost Trust, they would have been automatically placed on that ballot. A majority of the Senate was willing to do so, and I have the documentation and the whole battery of votes and a day's worth of debate on this matter. Unfortunately, it required a supermajority for us to bring the bill forward out of the Senate and onto the House. Even though we had a majority of the Senate, we did not have a supermajority. And if you want to see names, I have them here. Those that supported South Carolina's right of the most sacred aspect of our republic, and that is the access to the ballot. I have them here. It's easy to point a lot of fingers. Yes, the General Assembly should have conflicting and incongruous code sections. We do. We have them all over the place. We fix them every year. This would not have been a matter had it not been litigated. I'm willing to identify individuals who I believe are most culpable and responsible in the pursuance of litigation. I'm here to say that we were disserved, we were poorly served by our Supreme Court justices. The South Carolina Supreme Court, even though the incongruity in the code sections, even though the miscommunications between ethics, election commissions, and state and county parties, the South Carolina Supreme Court still had within their capacity to take 2 good sections of law, the law that came from Operation Lost Trust 20 years ago, the law that came from new technology just 2 years ago as it relates to transparency and online filing. The South Carolina Supreme Court had the opportunity to take 2 positives and instead of turning them to a negative based on strict interpretation without any consideration of legislative intent or the spirit of the law, they disserved the people of South Carolina, and I don't believe they saw the ramifications, and we have not yet seen them because we don't know yet what kind of confusion will affect the state next Tuesday. So my heart breaks for these gentlemen and for hundreds of others across South Carolina. But for my part, on their behalf and your behalf, I have the documentation, and I'll stay in the parking lot all night for any of you that want to see it blow by blow. I will say this, if I'm fortunate enough to serve again in the Senate for another term, there are 2 of the 5 justices that will be before us for re-election. They serve 10-year terms. This will be the pivotal point for whether or not I consider their candidacy. I can assure you, it will be unprecedented because there's never been a Supreme Court justice brought back off the bench. They retire at their pleasure, almost universally. This will be the pivotal issue as I relate to those justices. We've got to leave, but I have, or what any of you might want to see, as it relates to the legislative effort to try to rectify and remedy this matter. I'll be here as long as you like. Thank you again for allowing me this honor.
Thanks, Senator.